Well, Jack, first of all, congratulations. 35 years of service to the city of Steinbach, something that we don't see a lot in your position.
Thanks, Daryl. You're right. I'm sort of old school. I don't expect too many CAOs in Manitoba last as long going forward. It used to be all the time. They'd be in a job like this and it'd be a lifetime career. The last decade or so, you see a lot more turnover. So I'm sort of a leftover.
So what is it that's kept you interested here and kept you sort of glued to it and continuing to progress?
If I had one word, it would probably be change. I've worked with 6 mayors, all completely different individuals, so I've had to change my style each and every time. Worked with probably 14 or 15 different councils, always a constant change. And the community. I mean, you know as well as I do how the community has grown. When I started with the city, we had less than 6,000 people, and we've probably got 13,000 now. And all those things just keep you going because it's just everything is a new day when you started. So.
What do you think are some of the key things from your chair? Council sets your priorities and you enact policy and so on, but there's a lot of work that you have to do to be, I think, in tune with who's building, who's developing, who's perhaps looking to locate the Steinbach. What are some of the keys that have allowed you to nurture this growth?
Well, a lot of it starts from the city councils. They're very business proactive, and that sort of filters down in everything that you do. The community is very progressive, and the businesses everyone's an entrepreneur. So the whole commercial side, the Chamber of Commerce, the businesses, they thrive on that kind of activity. So you just get wrapped up in it, and you're just part of the same team, so to speak.
Any favorite stories of mayors or councils past?
Well, I could probably tell favorite stories of each councillor and each mayor. It would take us a long time. I don't know if I could think of any that I could tell right now. I'd have to give that some thought.
What about what you consider monumental accomplishments? What were some of the things that really propelled the city forward?
I think there was more than one, and they're all pieces to the pie. But from a project situation, I think when BioVale established here in the early '90s, that was a sort of an international company that put Steinbach on the map from the pharmaceutical side. I think that was good. We had some large players in our community like Lowen Windows that represented Steinbach across Canada. Barkman Concrete with their American presence and their Canadian presence. I think all those are sort of milestones in themselves that have been driven by the community. The local paper, a Golden West radio station, your radio station, how it's grown. It seems like everyone's been on that same page that it's growth-oriented. The automobile dealers are growth-oriented, and it's just how the community has reacted. They've embraced growth, and they've managed to do it very well.
You talked about the ability to adapt and change, but I think the mayor singled out, too, the other day that you, too, have been key to grow personally, and that means you've taken courses at university and done different things like that. Obviously, an inner drive to always go better.
Well, I've always thought that if things change around you, you better change, because if you stop, you're going to fall behind. And Steinbach is like that. You have to strive to always move forward. I had the opportunity to go back to university a number of years ago and get my MBA, which to me was perfect timing. My kids had just moved out of the house. We were alone. I had really good support staff working for the city, and I could take the time off to be able to do that. So it actually worked out quite well. It was a good thing. I learned a lot of things going back to school, and the only sad part was I wish I could have learned those things 20 years ago.
Well, Jack, City thanks you for a valued service these past 35 years and continued service in the future, and something we need to pause, reflect, and admire for what you've done.
Well, thank you. And just as a closing, perhaps, I think a common question that's been asked of me for the last year is, so when are you retiring? And I'm not a retiring kind of a guy. And I don't know if you can catch this, but you can see on my computer, my thought for the day is always put on top of it. It says, retirement is no more than a bad habit which a busy man has no time to form. So to me, I'm busy enough that I only have time to think about retirement.